Hey, this works good.
From Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9, from the City Hall Council Chambers, it's time once again for the Taxpayers Hotline Show. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host.
You want to be host today?
No, you're the host today.
Okay, this is Kaz Kwiatkowski,
I'm
City
John.
Councilman, and
John Steiner joined the cast today.
John, you did a good job, I heard, last week.
Oh, well, we just did a little talking, nothing out of the ordinary. DJ helped out a little bit.
Yeah, DJ's under the weather again. He's having a rough time.
Is he?
Yeah, we hope he gets a little better.
Yeah. Has he been missing lately, or?
A couple times. It's like a lot of people tell me there's a lot of wild things going around, little flus and.
Yeah. Well, with the weather changing, it's a beautiful day today.
See, everybody's like me. You took off your jackets and you run around and.
Right. Well, everybody starts getting the spring fever now. When it's in the 60s, and.
Can you blame them?
No, I don't blame them.
I mean, I'm in Minnesota in February and it's 57, and I'm going, come on,
Yeah, really.
But I'm not complaining.
No, usually it's minus 57 up there, wind chill, right?
Yep. Hey, you know what was weird? I was watching this news article. Where's the last place you think they'd be out of snow?
I know where you.
in the United States, I mean.
I know where you're going with this.
The Iditarod?
The Iditarod, yeah, Alaska. The global warming doesn't exist, but we have to pipe snow into Alaska.
Oop, we had a call and looks like it went off.
They'll call back.
Yeah, the Iditarod of all places.
Yeah, they're pumping 50 tons of snow to run the Iditarod in Alaska because
that reminds me when we used to have those winter carnivals in Erie. And they try as they may and try as they may.
Yeah,
it would always be a thaw at the wrong time.
Right.
Go ahead, caller.
Hey, you look pretty good, Dan Green. What do you think? It's St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, that's not actually green, John. That's
tealish.
Teal.
So who?
Teal. That's green and blue.
It's tealish.
I had a truck that color, and the birds seemed to always attack it.
I'll tell you a real quick story. When they merged Tech and Academy, the kids decided they wanted to come up with a new name and new color, right? Well, they told us, I wasn't on the school board that time, but they told the school board that time and the parents groups that they would love to do what the kids did, but teal was not available. And I'm thinking, did anybody ever look at the Miami Dolphins outfits? They're teal, and look at my shirt. And the kids thought of this as a merger between Tech's green and Academy's blue.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but they couldn't make it happen. I'll always remember that comment.
Oh, yeah? I remember my school colors. They made that happen.
Yeah, well, you can make anything happen. To say there was no teal? Come on.
I mean, red and gray, it'll never go away.
Hey, that rhymes a little bit.
Well, I'm a poet and don't know it.
There you go.
I got a question for you. Last week's city council meeting.
Yeah.
I know Randy Barnes is a well-educated man, but don't you think we've got the message out here that he comes in and hammers, well, now he's only hammering 3 city councilmen, about Mr. Clem's bonus.
Right.
Why doesn't he just let it fade away?
Well, I think it will fade away shortly. I can't remember when the contract expires. I think it's a couple months from now.
July.
Yeah, I believe that's what I thought. Midsummer.
I know like I say, he's well educated. He's a businessman and all that. But it's just like saying that it's going to rain someday, constantly, over and over and over.
Well, that's I guess that's the what do you call it? The price we pay for democracy.
Persistence. Well, freedom of speech, what you would say. But city council meeting.
But they are actually they're trying to stop it. I'm not, they're trying to stop the personal attack part of it, where somebody comes up here and...
if it's factual in the whole thing, that's not a personal attack, that's fact.
No, that's okay, but when, like we had a meeting a few weeks ago, where, people were just being very...
disrespectful.
Yeah, disrespectful. And I had to say I never liked doing this, because I'm one that believes everybody should say what they want, but up to the point where, like I say in this show...
You don't make individual personal attacks.
Yeah, not where you can't, where it's not factual, where you start saying, this guy's a bum, this guy's a jerk, you're lying. When you call somebody a liar, make sure you have the facts before you do that,
Yeah, that's true. Well, he was given given all factual stuff, and of course, Mr. Mercy thinks he's the head honcho up there now. He's taken the city council presidency a little bit too far. But beyond that, I'm disappointed in one of your votes.
Me too.
Last week.
Which one, John?
When you voted to accept Gannon's donation.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything wrong with the Sisters of Mercies, but you should have voted no on Gannon's.
Oh, why was that, John?
To show your dismay with that they're donating so little.
I'm trying that, but I got to look into that, John. I think that was more of a.
It was $200,000.
Yeah, but I think it was more of a grant, though.
$1,000 for safety, primarily for safety.
Yeah, but I think there was more to it than just a donation. I'll tell you what I'll do. To be fair to you, John.
But they do this all the time.
Yeah, but I don't think that was one of their outright. I think they were passed through on some kind of grant with that thing.
No, they stipulate to where it's to go.
Yeah, but what I'm going to do, John, and you have every right to be mad. I will check and see.
I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I will go down and ask. I want to see what they offer. I thought that was more than like the sisters. They used to send me a check every year as controller.
It's to go to safety.
Right, and the only thing they ever asked us was no. Actually, John, they split in three. The sisters.
Well, the police, the fire,
and public works.
Yes.
And they usually, they don't specify except the amount of money to be divided equally.
Their donation, and they go a long way to do that.
But I'm going to pull up the Gannon one to see. I thought, my understanding was that was a grant that they applied for or something. I will check.
Their yearly $200,000 donation, like last time it was for a couple of cruisers.
Well, I'll tell you what, let me look next week and then you can nail me again, okay?
And the whole thing is, I think they should be doing more than that.
Well, hey, John, nobody agrees with you more than I do. I have talked to Representative Harkins, Representative Fabrizio. I've even talked to Representative Sonny on occasions when I've been with him, different places, and I said, you guys really got to come up with something that don't call it a tax, call it some kind of safety fee.
Ex-Mayor Flatley or Filippi had a great idea. A fee charged for every student.
Yes, and I'm going to bring that up again.
It sounds horrible, and it really is horrible.
Well, what happened was when Flippy brought it up, he couldn't get council to go along with him. I remember that, and what it did was it kind of jostled Gannon to make a contribution.
Yeah, jostled Gannon and it would jostled Mercyhurst.
But I don't know if I'll get the support, John, but I do plan on introducing that again.
Well, if at Mercyhurst, they pay for a parking fee in their tuition or whatever it is.
Yeah, and we went after that. That area up there where Paul Bunyan, not Paul Bunyan. Yeah, where Paul Bunyan was.
Well, yeah. Doesn't Country Fair own that corner lot?
Yeah, and we tried to go after him, and I remember I went to the lady that does that, and she investigated, and they had some kind of way around our ordinance because it was
nonprofit.
No, it was I can't remember what Country Fair did. It was like a donation to, they were just letting them park there for free, and somehow they weren't really charging to park there. It got kind of like piggybacked into something else, and we really couldn't go after them. But rest assured that in the past, Sue LeFavor, who did that program, was very, very good at, when tips were given to her about going after them.
That's true.
But, we somehow, we couldn't collect on that one. Because, even the neighbors knew it. They all had stickers on their windows. And
sure, they all had their stickers. And if somebody else was parked in there, they'd be towed away.
Yeah. But I can't remember. It was a few years ago. We did try to go after them, but we didn't have enough. The ordinance wasn't strong enough for how they were doing it.
Well, none of the ordinance the city council puts out doesn't seem to be strong enough. Well, but it's strong enough.
Don't forget
no enforcement.
Don't forget some of what are written by the solicitor's office.
And the solicitor doesn't have the strength of the columns to tell the code enforcement to enforce it.
Well, council can tell them, and we can beg them. But the mayor's got to be the one that pushes them out.
That's true, and if you don't follow up on on your ordinances and everything else, you might as well just throw them away.
Well, you know, I'm glad you brought that up because I was really disappointed. Really, I was burned up, and it goes back to what I've been saying a long time, and that was, you know, they say they're complaint-driven, but then you hear a story like the other day about Mr. Arrington. Remember that? Would you see that on TV?
No, I don't believe I did.
Yeah, there was a gentleman. I plan on going out there and taking a ride and looking at that. There was a Mr. Arrington that complained to the city about dumping on this piece of land. And although I don't know what I know the outcome was, we cleaned it up, but I have a feeling we owned that piece of property.
Sure, it's all over.
Either because of, tax or whatever, we took it back. But they cleaned it up. But this gentleman had complained how many times? And I'm going, what are they doing up there? Are they sitting around? I mean, during budget sessions, they tell us there's they need more man, but they're busy. They can do what? How busy can you be when you got all these undocumented things that nobody knows? It takes a newspaper or not the newspaper in this case, but the electronic media to ferret them out.
That's true.
That's bad. I mean, you wonder why people move out of this city?
There's the reason.
You want to live next door to garbage?
Well, they don't seem they can't do more than one thing. The police have their hands full, but you have the Parks Department, you have the Sewer Department, you have all these other departments running around. If they can't see this stuff,
I won't pick on another part of the city, but how long do you think it would last in one of the?
On the west side?
The more influential.
It would be gone the next day.
Right. See, there you have it. You wonder why people.
One more thing I want to talk about, then get lost here.
Go ahead.
Developer in GEDIC.
Yeah, that's a mess, ain't it?
It's a mess. They knew what they got themselves into, and they got into that, and they didn't pay their taxes. It's just like Kim Green and her outfit. They probably still don't have their taxes paid.
And now they want Penn State to bail them out.
True. And I was Penn State, I'd say, no, you were supposed to take care of the taxable properties, take care of it.
And why did, I can remember when this thing was going on about the railroad siding.
They should have put that up there on 12th and Green Garden.
Yep, and I even approached, we had a meeting, and I tossed it out there, but they kept saying, well, our studies go, it wouldn't work. Well, you know what? You spent all that money on whatever, and you blew it now. Now you're in trouble.
And now we lent them.
Did they think Depot Road was going to work?
Well, we lent them $3 million.
True.
And you could probably kiss that goodbye because they're so far in debt. They went and bought that property out in Harbor Creek without even talking to the community about it.
That's true.
And then John Elliott, them try to force it down their throats.
There's your first mistake. The same thing is happening with the EMTA. You read about it in the paper, but did anybody approach the Harbor Creek supervisors or city council or anybody, and say, first thing you want to do is see if this is going to fly without opposition.
Well, a lot of people have the not in my backyard theory, and Harbor Creek. I mean, sure.
But that wasn't their attitude, not in their backyard.
It was a little bit, I think.
Yeah, they didn't want the traffic.
Still, if they would have mapped everything out and went up Depot Road with trucks going constantly in the winter and everything else, they would have saw the best part for that would have been on 12th and Green Garden, or even down by the old rail train station down by the water disposal plant.
What about Savacchio Park in those places? 12th East.
That area too.
East 12th Street, where the old golf range used to be.
Yeah, there's nothing in Savacchio Park.
Yeah, I mean, Savacchio Park is a prime area that needs to be developed. I mean, there's developable areas in the city where you wouldn't have to worry about, the trucks and stuff.
Pigeon Farm?
Yeah, right.
I mean...
And where are we going to be having ships and trains come in to put products out to Cleveland, Buffalo, or wherever? Those days are gone. We had the pulpwood docks, we had the coal docks, we had the ore docks, we had the grain elevator, then we had a central hub. That will never come back again.
But I'm really disappointed when I hear the term men of vision or women of vision. You look at the vision they have, but it's not, you didn't approach Harbor Creek. You didn't ask whether you give their guys, their supervisors, a chance to massage their public.
Well, you need to give the community, a heads up. The thing is people in Erie, there's things that they complain about. that they don't want. And it just seems like sometimes some of these organizations have to go ahead and take a proactive approach and say, this is what we're going to do.
The organizations have to start using their own money and forget about the nonprofit or forget about the state and federal government. We have to get an entrepreneur who wants to come in and use his money.
Unfortunately, they're all used to the corporate welfare now.
That's true. And
not going to happen.
In McKeesport, they had one of these deals going. The train, I think CSX, they give McKeesport $50,000 towards this. We were supposed to pick up the whole tab for them up here in the Harbor Creek. But I just hope the Harbor Creek supervisors say no to this pilot program and make them pay the full boat.
Now we'll see.
I don't know how do these nonprofits get away with leasing and renting out their property to different organizations that should be.
Just like they bought the area out by Old Penlick property, GEDIC, and they were going to develop that too.
Right. What's been going on out there at the Hammer Mill site? Anything?
They had that idea that they were going to hook up with the Transocean or Translake cable coming across for electricity towards Conneaut into that swing. Penlick was going to do that all years ago, and they found out that it wasn't feasible because they had to bury the cable. It's going to take 5 to 10 years to run that cable across once all the permits are established and everything. But Penlick went through all this years and years ago, and they stopped after they put X amount of dollars into it, and nobody seemed to want to get on board.
Don't you have some salt mines underneath there too?
Pardon?
Don't you have some salt mines underneath there too?
That's up farther towards, I think down around Menor up there.
Oh, that won't affect the cable then.
No, they're taking a different route.
But yeah, when you get through all the environmental studies, that'll be some.
That's true. So, but hey, we'll see what happens.
Yep.
Like the county executive said, she's going to intervene with this negotiating. I find that hard to believe.
Well, she's on the board for Develop Erie.
Yes.
So, I mean, how do they? This shouldn't be news to her. You'd think that they were on all this financial trouble.
Well, you look at the county executive, you look at Chafee from the region and the whole shot, all these people, all these corporations, they're all leaving. And that spins off the spin-off of the businesses going downhill from that.
One thing I've heard, I was going to talk to Kaz about through the state level, that this is unfortunate, but within the next 6 months or so, General Electric is going to start moving more of their top-level locomotive people down to Texas.
Sure, you build that big plant, it's not there for looks.
Yeah. So this first round of layoffs is just
a little bit of frost. Yeah.
It's just the beginning of what's about to come.
It's just what is the Lord Corporation moving their execs out to off of Pittsburgh Avenue, or is that? One of the steel places.
I think it was Lord's.
Offices.
Yeah.
And we got to keep industry here, but they don't want to stay. The taxes are too high and everything else.
Well, I heard the only problem they got in Texas is the quality of work, and they're trying to work on that thing.
Yeah.
But, hey, you'd be a fool to think when they gave you a reason like, well, we built in Texas just in case something happened to the factory up north,
No.
Well, they never thought about that stuff years ago. So, it's all about, let's face it, it's about the right to work state. It's about other issues. They didn't build that big plant in Texas to sit there and do nothing.
No, I hardly find that will hold water.
You got to figure once they get those people trained down there and once they're familiar with what they're doing.
It's true.
And if you put management down there, that's usually a harbinger that.
I mean, once the main folks pulled out of here and went to Chicago, that was the beginning of the end. And now they're going to start moving their other upper management folks to Texas.
Refrigeration went, the armatures went. Now the trains are going to be going. All they'll be making up here is kits to be put together elsewhere.
And that won't last long either, Brian.
No, it won't. So, have a great day.
All right. GE goes, there goes Lawrence Park, and they're the what's the school out there?
Iroquois.
Iroquois.
Well, they were in trouble before Iroquois.
Right.
Go ahead, caller.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Hello.
3419 East Avenue. I've been complaining about this before Christmas. Rob told me that he called code, or he made out a form and sent it to District Justice 2 weeks ago, and nothing has still happened yet.
3419 East Avenue. That's the one with the garbage on the side?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Hey, did you get your garbage picked up properly this week, or has it improved?
I think it has. I didn't hear the trucks did last week.
Well, I got a call from the director, and he said he would look into it, and I said, well, thank you, because I said, I get frustrated too when I go through all the, not that it's a big expense, but the expense and the time to put everything in nice little bags. If we're not going to take advantage of it,
Yep.
because that's revenue to the city. I mean, let's face it, people don't know this. We got to pay for our garbage pickup when we take it out to the transfer station. So the more recyclables we have, the lesser our bill is. But if they're not doing that, that's bad. But I'm glad they're taking care of that. But I did drive by that property. I'll go up there and ask them what's going on. I'm going to put together a list of about 20 or 30 properties, and we have a meeting this week of the Blighted Review Board. So I'm going to see, I got 20 or 30 properties I want to get the paperwork on and look at them and see just what heck's going on them.
Nobody's been working on the house since a couple of days after Christmas, and we had that warm weather.
Yeah, and it looked bad in the back one. I remember you told me that, and I even took a ride a couple blocks around there, and there's a couple other houses I'm not happy with.
Yeah. Okay, you have to set the timer with John here.
No, John's okay. You know what?
I love John. Yeah, he's good.
I told you.
I think the other John.
No, this John or the other John?
No, John's called in. He's got some good.
Oh, that John. Yeah, he's. I've been trying to get him on the show, and he won't come.
Yeah, he's very, very intelligent. Very smart.
I actually visit him once in a while because he's an interesting guy, and I wanted to see what he looked like. He didn't look anything like I thought he would. But
does he have a face for radio? Good face for radio, or is he?
Well, it's not that. He's just a very quiet man. But I mean, I tell you what, he's never given me any bad intel over the years.
Right. Well, he's usually pretty knowledgeable about things, and not a lot of people call the show, so sometimes it's good to.
I'll let somebody else call.
Okay, next ride down to East Avenue, I'll have to come down and see you then.
Okay. Have a good day.
You too.
I saw
Go ahead.
the county talking about holding up funding for the EMTA now.
Yeah.
That's nice. So they're going to try to strong arm you guys? That's how they roll.
Yeah, the cooperation, that makes you laugh.
Yeah.
Go ahead, caller.
There's a meeting tonight at the church for the Mercyhurst Neighborhood Watch Group, 7 o'clock.
Okay, I'll try to get there. That's at the Lamb of God.
Yeah, oh God, right. There's not many people coming, I said there must not be any problems, but there are problems that nobody wants to come to the meeting. So I encourage people to come to the meetings and see what they have, what they can hear from the police even,
Yeah, I just don't know if it's, if they've given up or it's, the weather.
I don't know. There's a couple of bad houses down on East 37th Street that are really, giving people a lot of problems, and I guess they want to spout off about it tonight. But,
my sister used to come, but she gave up the ghost and moved out of the city.
Yeah, I know it.
I didn't want her to, but I couldn't blame her,
Yeah, oh no, you can't live like that. I mean, our whole lives are changed with these college kids.
Yeah, and they come up to you and they, challenge you with 4-letter words and.
Oh yeah.
And you got to watch their perverted actions at night,
Oh yeah, they're just loud and nasty. They have no respect for anything.
No, some of the kids are, I don't know why, but the kids at the top of my block now are pretty decent the last couple of years, but. But it only takes a few to give the old school a bad name,
And once they get a little buzzed up,
yeah,
start acting like fools.
I mean, what these people go through is, nobody should put up with that.
No.
Your whole life has changed. You don't have any kind of a lifestyle anymore. You can't do what you used to do because you're hindered by these kids. And they're just nasty. They take your parking places. They just everything. I mean, they just don't care.
Yeah, somebody told me once, well, you should have thought that when you moved there, or keep your windows closed. Wait, what? This was the last time I looked. This was America.
Well, Mercyhurst changed their on-campus living rules. They're not allowed. I think they used to have 4 in an apartment. Now they're only allowed to have 2 or something like
What's
that.
that? Where in the?
Yeah, right, but there's like 5 or 6, and if you can't ever prove that they're there though. But every day
No, I'm talking on campus.
Oh yeah, but he's trying to push them back on campus, which is a good idea.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, like this lady says, our city rule says clearly 3 non-related people.
Right.
Okay, unless you're a family, then So you look there and you got 7 cars. Well,
yeah, that's
then you go, well, they got guests. Well, the guests never leave.
right.
It's kind of like when in Poland when we used to say we had a lot of visitors and they never left.
Yeah.
And so how long do they live there?
That's a tough situation because we got shootings over here, and
Well, that's why I'm saying it's not the police fault. But
you need help from Mercyhurst when it comes to police and their
I say pick one house at a time and work on it.
Yeah, well, Mr. Victor tried to get them back on campus, and he said, though, if they have leases signed, they don't have to come back on campus. They can live through their lease. Well, those are the houses that are the ones that are the spoilers.
Yeah, and what we got to do is we got to say, like that red house that was a 900 block, for years that was a trouble. Just pick that house first and go after it. And then, then pick another house, go after that one, and just go right down the line. And I told him, but nobody ever approached council. We've asked them to prepare ordinances so that we can strengthen them. Bob Mursky and I will both sign and sponsor some of these ordinances if they would write them up, make them legal, and let's try them. So what if they take us to court?
Well,
we'll find out if Edinburgh went after.
Isn't Bob Mursky's mother-in-law? Isn't she the board president of Mercyhurst?
She was, I think.
She's not. Marlene's not on the.
I don't know if she is anymore, but I mean, over the years we've begged them, and even Jimmy Thompson did about, give us some ordinances and we'll pass them. But there's been a reluctance from code and from the solicitor's office to write these up.
And they don't want to do the paperwork.
No, but Edinburgh, I talked to a gentleman in Edinburgh, Johnny Grohl, when he was down there, and they tried all kinds of unique things in Edinburgh, but you couldn't rent every so many yards from another rental, and they were challenged in court, and I think a lot of times they won. The borough was getting tired of that crap too.
Yeah, well, the only thing is it isn't all Mercyhurst now. It's Barron, because Barron's been moving in between the Mercyhurst people, and nobody tells them what to do. They don't have to, they're adults.
Right, they come down the highway, and it's...
a lot of people think that it's the Mercyhurst kids that are causing the problem when it's...
Oh, no, it's not all Mercyhurst.
No, it's
well,
Barron.
it used to be the teams, but the teams have been roped and brought back on campus, some of them.
Mm-hmm.
They were a big problem.
Right.
But, no, I'll try to get there tonight, ma'am.
All righty, well, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, bye-bye.
I seen that the inner city or the downtown, they have a Facebook page, and I liked it. I get a lot of
who did that?
notifications.
Downtown?
Yeah, the downtown, Amy, I think her name is. Or something.
Hold on a second. Hold that thought, John. Go ahead, caller.
Hi. I just have something to say, and I'm hoping someone out there is listening. Every time there's an event at the Civic Center or the Werner Theater, the Mid-City apartment building parking lot fills up with vehicles.
Are you talking about the one behind the bank, right?
Yeah, right in the law office and where Mid-City parks. There are vehicles.
Yeah.
Well, those spots are paid for by the residents that live here. Now, when the people just don't care, they don't look at the signs or anything. They will park there if you're not in your spot. Then we all have the right to have them towed away.
Mm-hmm.
And then they come over, they get mad, they get hostile. They have no right parking there in the first place. But they do it every single time.
Well, do you know, I was just starting to talk to Kaz about it. They have a new organization downtown where they're starting to address things like that.
Is that Amy Carpenter's group?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I get, like I was telling him, I get notifications all the time. They have a meeting coming up. You should definitely go to that meeting because I'm sure they get a lot of representation to maybe address the problem that you're talking about.
And when is this? again?
I'd have to look it up. Kaz would have to give it to you.
Yeah, Amy Compatory is the one that's, she comes to council meetings.
Yeah.
And what I'll do is maybe I'll try to get Amy on the show.
While you guys talk, I'll try to look it up.
And, I used to work, ma'am, for the parking authority. Part-time, and I used to work in that lot, a couple of lots over there. They used to tow cars. The problem was, I remember, if it's a private lot, the police are reluctant to do anything unless the owner, requests tows, which would be your landlord.
No, the people that pay for those spots are the ones that can call and have them towed.
Do you have a landlord in that building, don't you?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Is that his parking lot?
Yes.
Okay, but he gave you permission, right? To tow cars away.
Oh, of course, because there are signs posted saying no parking.
Let me, I'm going to I got a meeting actually tomorrow with the parking authority. Because I'm the liaison. I will ask them what they need. Maybe he can give me a suggestion. Because I do remember years ago that came up when, and I don't think it's the Civic Center people that park there.
Oh, yes, it is.
Oh, it's them too? No, I mean, it's not their workers, is it?
No, there was a hockey game last night, and here they are.
Because I know in the past they told their workers, and they've been trying to negotiate. When they do, there's a plan to fix the Warner up back there. And one of the plans is that they have to address the parking situation. So they were talking about building like a mini ramp back there so that they can bring trucks in to take care of the shows, but still the residents could park. And I remember that's part of the long-range plan. But I will talk to Mr. Wells. I will talk to Mr. Massing from the Parking Authority, and I'll talk to our chief and see if I can find out, how this would work to get those cars towed. Because I can understand your frustration. Because people park in the PNC Bank lot, and for a while they were towing people out of theirs.
They just had a meeting.
We was call and have them towed ourselves.
Yeah, well, PNC Bank was because, they have customers that use those banking machines all night.
Yeah, but they're closed down.
Yeah, but the machines are open all night, aren't they?
No, there's nothing.
The ATMs?
No, not right behind our building. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, but I mean the parking ramp next to you across the street.
The street, yes, but nobody parks there. They come here.
Well, I think PNC was starting to tow them, that's why.
Well,
PNC was very...
They're just ignorant, in my opinion.
And the only thing that'll stop them is getting towed. Now, I will try to find out how that happens.
All right.
John's going to give you some information here.
They just had a meeting in March 2nd. But are you on social network at all? Do you do Facebook or anything?
Yes.
Click on the Downtown Neighborhood Association.
Okay.
And her name is Amy Comparator. I think they had something in the paper.
Amy Compatory.
Yeah, Compatory. They're doing a lot down there. So definitely, this is something that...
I think she got like a neighborhood watch.
Yeah, they started some type of nonprofit neighborhood watch. And she seems really involved in it. And, they're getting good speakers and talking about the problems down there. Like, she's talking about some of the stuff about the stuff going on at the 9th and State Beer Cafe, on all kinds of other problems down there. So,
yeah, what I would suggest, ma'am, if you call her...
Yeah, they meet at hands.
Yeah. I don't want to take your number over the phone, but if you'd want to call me off the air, I'd be glad to give her your number.
Okay.
Yeah, they had a meeting on the 2nd at 4 o'clock. I think they meet at the Hands building, the old sports store.
Oh, all right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Amy Compatory, she's been coming to council meetings, and she's got our attention because she's got solutions rather than just complaints.
Good.
So, I'm hoping, because, I heard complaints like from some of the people living in the apartments there about, music during these festivals, and, they have to live there. And I mean, if you want to give me your number, or feel free to call her, write her on her
it's just
site.
If you like the page, you'll be getting, it's the Downtown Neighborhood Association. Yeah, you like the page, you'll get all kinds of notifications about what's going on in your neighborhood.
Okay, well, thank you very much for listening.
Yeah, and if you want to leave me your number, that's fine. I can give you my phone number, or you can call City Hall here.
Okay, I'll just call later.
Yeah, and then I can contact her and tell her that you're concerned because I know I used to watch that when I was working, and I said, I felt bad for the people who live in those apartments, you know.
It's terrible at times.
Well, you know, people being what they are, they're going to park wherever they want because and I use this term, they're too tight to pay the parking fees.
Exactly.
And they don't want to come early to park on the street.
Getting out of there is a pain in the neck.
Then they pay all that money to have their car get out of towing.
Yeah.
Impound, so, you know.
I think they sometimes forget that, you know, there are really people who live and park in those spots.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Hey, thank you.
Bye.
Hey, that's a valid, see, that's kind of valid things that nobody sees, but, you know.
Honestly, she's going to be mad at me, but I think I've parked there too before for a hockey game or something, so I'm kind of guilty of it. I don't think it's posted. I don't know.
It is. I'm going to take a ride. I'm going to take a ride this afternoon.
Well, it's been a while. It's been over a couple
I remember
years.
I used to go to meetings at the attorney's office, and you have to drive all the way through and in the middle of there. You got to go over more. But there were signs posted because when you went to the bank,
right,
it says residential parking.
I just thought it was for the law offices, and you know, I figured if they were closed at night,
maybe they have to change the signs. You know.
Yeah.
Go ahead, caller.
Hi, the lady just called in about the parking.
Yes.
There are signs posted all along the back of the wall that says, if you park, you will be towed. This is a private parking. And I have towed somebody out of my spot. They don't give a crap. It is posted everywhere, in the law office and behind the building. So, yes, it is posted. And don't park there no more because they're going to tow you.
Hey, let me ask you a question. The landlord, does he give you permission to call to tow him or what?
Yes. We pay for the parking behind the building.
Right.
We have to pay our landlady downstairs, the people that own the building. And they're not here at 9, 10 o'clock at night when they're Civic Center. So we have to call ourselves to have it towed if it's in our spot. If it's not in our spot, we can't just call and say, hey, tow that guy.
Right, so then they have an understanding with the towing company, right?
I have no idea about that, but I do know that I've already had someone called and towed because I pay for the parking, and I don't think it's fair that they should come in here and just think, oh, well, I'm going to a hockey game.
No, ma'am, I agree with you. Like I told that lady, I used to work in the various parking lots for the parking authority, and I'd watch people pull in there because they didn't want to pay the $3 or the $2.
I mean, behind the building in the law office, they block you in. They go wall to wall. They don't even leave you a spot to get out if you're behind them.
Well, see, that's the last time I was before the parking ramp was.
Yeah, and you know what? And
next to the Civic Center.
So it isn't the Civic Center employees. They're not doing it, right?
No, it's not them. They have parking.
They should let the people do it.
Yeah.
They want to make money. Let them park in there.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm guilty. I have.
Yeah, but
well, don't park back there no more.
no, not anymore.
Well, you know, and the funny thing is, there's plenty of parking, and if you're very frugal, you can park on the street if you can find it, and if not, I mean,
park across from the Civic Center.
Yeah, I mean they got parking at Erie Insurance.
Let me ask you a question. There's a lot, and then you go back to by where you go into the flower shop and.
Yes, that is all posted. That's the law.
Okay,
and it says you will be towed. This is private parking.
Does it say that up in the upper lot 2 area? You don't.
Yes. If you park there, you have to have seen the sign. If not, come on back over and look.
Oh, okay.
There's signs everywhere.
Okay.
I know. PNC got mad because people were parking all over their ramp.
Well, I don't care about PNC.
No, but I mean they had the same problem, and so they started towing cars one night because, you know, people had to go there to get the ATM machine. And then they start parking,
blocking the ATM.
Well, yeah,
wow.
John, people when they got like a hockey game, some at the Warner, some at the theater, they're parked in that where this lady's talking about.
Yeah.
They're parked in PNC. They're parked everywhere.
Yeah. They just don't care.
If it's free, they don't worry about it,
Okay. Yeah, I think a lot of people think that it's just.
They'll talk $100 and some to come take your car.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
It's not fun coming out and having.
I'll tell you a little story, man, real quick. We had a concert that got out of hand and included your lot. And I remember there was this one police officer, a sergeant, who had to get permission from the parking authority because they had taken over the whole parking lot. Nobody could get out or in. I'm telling you, John, it's packed.
The way it is every single time there's an event.
Yeah, and I towed 20 and one-half cars away that night. And I had to get permission from my boss, but...
Something on the TV, like on the news or something, and say, we've had a lot of problems, blah, blah, blah. Why can't they publicly announce that if you park there and you get towed, you're stupid?
Oh, here's what I learned, too. And I asked Casey Wells once, and I said, why don't you make an announcement like at the parking ramp, during the event, and he says they can't because when they rent out the building, the PA system belongs to the promoter.
Making an announcement at the game. I mean, why doesn't the city post it on like the Channel 8 or even on the news and say, hey, like they say over and over 50,000 times about the same news every night. Why can't they put on there that, with these events coming downtown, we've had problems with people parking. Just remind people if they're going to the Civic Center, you're going to be towed.
Well, I'll talk to Amy and Mr. Buchna from DID, and maybe they can put some pressure on us and other people to do that. Maybe have a public service campaign too, a little bit about common courtesy.
All it would take would be one night where they just come and drag everybody out of there, and then.
Well, here's the thing: they don't tell you once you're in the arena, you're on your own because they do not make announcements.
Right.
And they said they can't announce anything.
Yeah, the word spread though. The night we towed 20 cars.
Yeah.
You've seen people.
Because they're back again.
And they'll see the people going to the Civic Center.
And sometimes you can't re-enter. You can't re-enter.
That's right. You can't even go outside and catch
They get rude with you. They get ignorant. They act like you're in default, not them.
Yeah, I've seen some bad attitudes. I saw a person one night, ma'am, in the public ramp I worked for at the parking authority. He blocked the exit, and he told me, tough beans, in a little stronger term.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so I told him, I said, well, you know what? What I don't know is what mood I'm going to be in tonight.
Right.
Whether I tag you or whether I tow you. But I'm sure you'll find out when you come out.
All right, well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, she's right, though. People told me, well, I'm just going to park her because I got to park. No, you're not.
Well, I mean, I have parked there, like I said, and I'm not going to park there. It was rare. I mean, it's not like every time.
But, these people, I remember that building came up because when they talked about the renovations to the Warner, I remember Casey talking about they had to address that issue. Okay, they had to negotiate with the owner of the high-rise how they were going to do it so they could get big semis in there and still have parking for the tenants.
Go ahead.
Has contact the towing review board. I don't know if Sergeant Annunziata is head of that yet.
Yeah, he might be.
And I think Curtis Jones was on it. And they have McMillan's and Collectible Eddies on there.
Well, the thing is that, John, where we get into a little gray issue is that's a private one, okay?
Yep.
Like, I know this is going to sound strange here, but the night we towed 20-some cars at the Fish concert, it was strange because the sergeant at the time came up to me and said, I'm going to need permission, but I got a lot of complaints from people that John, they had it packed. Every inch was, if you can imagine a city parking lot, packed every inch. Aisles, everything. There was no getting out, nobody coming in. If you'd had an emergency or anything.
It's true.
So he said, I need permission. He said, will you give it to me? And I said, well, look, I'm only a little guy here. I probably should call my boss because this will get very ugly quick.
True.
And I'll give it to Mr. Cleaver went along with it. We towed 20-some cars out that night. The word spread real quick.
How quickly got out of there.
But those people can't get back in the concert a lot of times, so
That's true.
This is something they got to think about. But the ignorance of some people when they park there that they don't realize that the places they park in handicap spots, don't give a crap. They
think $5 is a lot of money.
Yeah, and if
go down to Pittsburgh, those places, you pay $25.
Well, yeah, well, like I tell people, come early and park on the street.
That's true.
It's not like there's not availability.
We're down by the Civic Center.
Well, like when I go to baseball games.
Yeah.
If I don't have cash on me for parking,
right,
just park on the street.
Well,
the meters
there's plenty of
the meters
free parking.
I think the meters are free after 6 o'clock.
If you go over 8th Street all the way over, it's free. Holland is free.
Well, do you remember your insurance? They had a lot.
Yeah.
They were starting to get mad because there's a liability issue. When people park in the lot without permission and then their cars get, let's say, what do you call it, hassled, you're subject for a lawsuit maybe.
Well, I know a lot of people park in what would be the 7th Street, or from 7th to 6th, and then they walk Well, that was before the ramp was built.
Right.
So they must have to walk around now.
And then there was a little problem there that Erie owned part of it, another guy owned another part of it.
Oh, really?
And so they were towing in parts of it, and other parts they weren't.
Oh.
But if you're the owner, do you want people parking in your lot and then you got damage or?
Right.
No. So I remember down in Bethel Park, meter maid told me let the meter expire. It's cheaper to pay the ticket than to pay for the parking.
That's true.
Well, I'll get off and let somebody else get on.
That's true, but some towns that,
Yeah. Are they going to start, I know they were talking about it, swiping the
Yeah,
cars.
it's a long-term, I'm actually with, what do you call it, the liaison.
Oh, are you?
And we talk about it a little bit every meeting about the progress. It's not going to be like seamless putting it in. So the first step is they're deciding what they want to do, how far they want to go. Then they're going to have some companies come in and
Bid it out.
And then they're going to put a little demonstration on for free.
It's not that hard.
No. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, can you tell me what they're doing there on 12th and Franklin Avenue? That I think it's GE property where the refrigeration was at one time.
No, I don't.
I don't.
12th and Franklin?
They're sort of on the hill. But they're tearing it all down, and they're probably for tax reasons again.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, maybe I'll try to find out. It's on GE property, though, right?
I'm pretty sure that's GE with refrigeration years ago.
I'll try to find out from somebody that's more inclined into that stuff.
I wonder if Scott bought it or something.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Oh, that new restaurant.
Which one's that?
That pancake place that they call
Oh, IHOP.
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 I highly doubt they're putting an IHOP on 12th and Franklin.
Yeah, no, probably not there. I think
He's put one on the east side someplace.
That'd be
probably. I'm thinking Harbor Creek, though.
Cool. Yeah,
Probably.
Yeah, he probably got somewhere on Buffalo Road up there.
right.
Yeah, where he's going to build a Dunkin' Donuts shop 3 years ago.
Well, he owns Applebee's there, so I don't know if he's got any land behind there.
Well, he owns the property next door to it, too.
Oh, there you go. Then I bet you.
Is Monroe Muffler still out there, or is that where Applebee's was? I should say.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be a car lot at one time.
Right.
That's my guess would be he'll probably build pretty close to where he is.
Well, they cluster them together.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I thought I'd just call up about it, and the city workers, too, they do a fantastic job, I can see.
I'd like to get that donut shop, though, down in the city.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Like somewhere up around McClelland or,
by the breakfast place.
Yeah, out there in that area,
When you go to Dunkin' Donuts, that's the best.
They got good coffee, though.
I like Tim Hortons coffee. That's good too. But their food, their donut. I miss the old Balkan Bakery donuts.
Yeah, I think in Jack Frost Donuts.
Yeah, there you go.
Frost. Yeah, those are good too.
They're the best.
I'm kind of a coffee nut, so I like everybody's coffee just a little bit different ways, different
You can
times.
run into Kaz at the breakfast place for private meetings in the mornings, right, Kaz?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I run into them there every once in a while.
You got to introduce me to you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. We got to find out what's going on out there. We'll have to check a few people I talked to.
Have your people get a hold of their people, find out what's going on.
Well, just there's people that are
I tell you,
inside of things.
I do know there's some programs. See, the state is aware of what's going on here on the east side.
Yeah.
And there's some funding that might be coming through this way for some projects targeting the east side of the city.
Well, the east side. I mean, there's beautiful spots where we can do some.
Well, I've been talking about this, and other people have been talking about this. Is access to the peninsula from the east side, and I've heard a lot of stuff about it. And
You mean about the bridge again?
yeah, well, it's not a bridge; it would be a tunnel, and I think that all parties are interested in making it happen, and it could happen, but there's just one reason why it won't happen. And it's unfortunate, but honestly, you can't.
Are you allowed to say what the reason is?
I'll say what the reason is, and I think a lot of people know what the reason is. They don't want certain elements over at the peninsula.
Well, you know what? This is what bugs me. It really does. And you brought up a little while ago about Iroquois, right? Mm-hmm. They were in trouble a few years ago when GE was starting to come down. Mm-hmm. And GE even suggested when their district was talking about merging or shutting down, they talked to them about sending their kids over to brand new East High School, which is just, actually GE had a lot to do with at that time.
Yeah, they did donate a lot there.
But, you know, I really get upset when I hear that term.
You know, it's...
You know, like the...
If you can't... The East Side, that would revitalize the East... I mean, it would save the East Side.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know what?
In my opinion. But then on the other hand, you can't have these... All we need is from one incident on that peninsula of a shooting.
Yeah.
One incident. And the people from Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Buffalo, they won't come here anymore. And it ticks me off. Go ahead.
Go ahead, caller.
Yes, I was calling to see if you can, call someone to fix that light on 12th and East Avenue. When you go to make a left turn, you have to sit there for a long time.
You mean the traffic light?
Yeah.
12th and East Avenue.
Over by the buildings there?
Yeah, which direction are we talking, ma'am?
Well, it's got to be south.
Left turn.
Left turn?
Yeah.
Heading which direction?
That would be
west?
east.
No, east.
And you're on 12th Street, right?
Right by the viaduct.
Like you're on East Avenue.
Oh, you're on East Avenue?
How can there... Yeah, I mean, there's no traffic coming from the other way.
Right, but it takes forever.
Yeah, right by the viaduct.
I'm going to have to check. If that's a state highway, that's going to be... They have to do a study and council...
Well, that's Route 5.
Council will have to...
No, wait a minute. That's not Route 5, is it?
12th Street? No, it's 20, I think.
No, 20 is 26th.
26th Street.
That is Route 5.
Wait.
No. Route 5 is 6th Street.
Yeah, you're right. I'm going to have to
And
check.
then 12th goes down.
12th Street is a state highway, though,
Yeah.
because they do the plowing on it. The state, I'll check on that, okay, ma'am?
Yes.
And you're talking about a left-hand turn lane, correct?
Yes, it takes forever.
That shouldn't even be on there because there's no oncoming traffic.
Okay, and you're saying, ma'am, you're on...
It's going south on East Avenue on 12th Street.
Let me mark that down. Going south on East.
Heading east. It's a delayed light.
Okay.
And it's not, I mean, why have it? There's no oncoming traffic coming from the bridge.
I have to talk to Leanne
they
about that.
They can just readjust it.
And you just sit there and you try to turn and it's
Right.
forever.
I'll see what Leanne tells me. It may take like a council resolution to get it off the table at least.
It may take an act of God.
Well, no, a lot of times if it's a state thing, we have to make a request.
Right.
And then
Right.
it's like when you talk about 38th and Pine or
Who do you guys deal with at the state level when it comes
Well, usually Bill Pettit's their contact man.
Okay.
But Leanne will forward it to the proper department, and then they have to come in and do a traffic study.
Right. Okay. I don't think they'll have to. There's no bridge.
Yeah.
So why have the light? I mean, she's right. It doesn't make sense.
Thank you for bringing it up.
All right,
man.
we'll look into it.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah, because that's a lot of times people ask about certain roads and like East 38th Street.
Yeah.
You have to deal with the state because that's
Right.
And they kind of work with us, but it's a complicated.
I know they were fighting. The state guys were fighting because I know that we did some of the roads. We had a contract with them to plow some of the roads, and they were trying to get it back.
Yeah, and
How'd that ever work out?
I never heard a thing about it. I wish they would take them back.
We'd lose money.
Yeah, but go ahead, caller.
Hey there, Kaz. Hey, your parking authority having a meeting tomorrow morning?
Yes.
Hey, you going to be going?
I think I am. I'll give you a call if I do go, okay?
All right, because I'd like to attend this one.
Yeah, I'll check my schedule real quick, and if I'm going, I'll call you.
All right, give me a call.
Okay. Yeah, the trouble with what you were asking me about, what was it now just?
Traffic lights?
Yeah.
Oh, the towing or plowing?
Yeah,
State roads?
I've always felt like, although with the new streets director, Mr. Zisk, he's been doing I think a better job than past gentlemen.
Uh-huh.
My biggest complaint has always been that because we spend so much time on the state highways, we never get to the neighborhoods.
Right. Right.
And that's, if you look at Mill Creek, they don't worry about 12th Street.
Right.
The state plows it.
Well, how much does the state pay us?
It's a negotiated contract, so much per mile, and
Right.
And I could get that. It's not a big. I haven't seen the latest one, but
is the cost and effect?
Well,
a lot of people.
I think the city feels like
they want to save money.
If they're going to get paid, they can do it better than the state will because they'll get on it right away.
Yeah.
My complaint is, once those roads are clean, don't stay on them.
Right.
Some people have accused them of racking up the mileage by going back and forth with empty plows rather than hit the neighborhoods.
We can't risk, like 26th Street in State, that hill right there, in the wintertime, that place is a death trap if it's not salted and plowed regularly.
Yeah.
And you got these state guys, they've got so much area to do. All it would take is just one incident, or them to miss it one time, or to be slow on it one time.
Well, that's why the state is, I think,
and
over
people
the years,
will die.
The state don't want the city. It's a nightmare to them.
Well, see what it is those state workers that drive the plows, they want the overtime.
Well, sure they do.
So that's why they had a big fight. A friend of mine was...
but management doesn't want it.
He was the head of the union for the state, for the Penelec. And they were fighting big time about getting those roads back. And I don't know.
But management,
they must not have got them.
But management don't want them because, well, no, as of now, we still have the contracts in place. That's why, if you look, like in Mill Creek, you'll see the state trucks. They don't cross Pittsburgh Avenue.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
They don't. You know, the city does the state highways. The only one that is the exception is the Bayfront Highway.
Right.
That was a special arrangement we worked out.
Mm-hmm.
And it used to be the state, like now 6th Street, we plow without any reimbursement. That was a trade that was made. We gave them the Bayfront Highway and they gave us 6th Street back. But yeah, it's a complicated formula, but
right.
So I just think a lot of people think like, well, they're spending too much time on the state highways. Go ahead, caller.
Hi, yes. I have a complaint about East 38th there by the zoo.
Yes.
And I think that's kind of stupid how they have 2 lanes there after you go through the red light. And you got 20 cars in the left lane and a lot in the right. And pretty soon there's going to be a major accident. If not, why don't they just take out that medium and just make it a 4-lane?
That's what they should have did it.
Well, you're talking, if I remember, you're talking about East 38th Street, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you know, that was my biggest complaint, and don't get me started, right, John?
I know.
Nancy, a friend of mine owned land, well, her property was up on that hill, and they told her they were going to take out part of her backyard. There was going to be a 4-lane road all the way through. And I will tell you that what stopped it was a few neighbors that got to city council. City council got onto the state, and the state has I learned from the late Jay Keneally that the state has so much money. And if you don't want it, they're going to take it back. So they said, you want the project scaled down? Fine, we'll do what you want.
You know, they should just...
No, go ahead, sir.
Should just have 1 lane there coming instead of having 2 where everybody's trying to cram in there and they're speeding, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, if they'd have put the 4-lane in all the way through, you would have had less speeding. I know that sounds stupid, but
I know.
But right now, the people in the left lane, they know they got to merge, and they're going to cut you off.
Actually, I think it's the other way around.
What?
I prefer staying in the left lane, coming around that curb.
The thing is if you...
Go ahead.
Yep, go ahead, sir.
Is if you get in an accident there, you know, you could probably sue the road department and them.
Well, you know, I'm trying to remember what the sign said. Does it say merge or yield?
Yeah, one of the two.
They told me that merge means, yield means you got to stop and let the traffic in the right lane go. But merge means you're supposed to get like
I think it is merge.
Yeah, that leaves a gray area open. Right. And see, this guy's right. To me, the cars in the right lane have the right of way. The ones in the left lane have to, merge or yield. But what they do is you can tell they're like Mario Andretti's there.
Yeah.
They're revving up their car and they're going to beat you.
Yeah, that's okay? What I just stay tight.
And only the cars in the right lane have prevented accidents. Because I refuse to go through that road anymore.
I know. I think it's disgusting, especially if Zoo is having a ton of people there and they're...
Well, they did the same thing to the Bayfront Highway. There's no way that should be a one-way each way.
I know. Well, thank you for listening.
Yeah, you know what? It's my biggest gripe, and it's at the top of my list.
Okay.
But I don't think it's going to change anytime soon.
I know.
And we're stuck with it, unfortunately.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad he brought that up because every time I look at that, I go,
whenever I drive through there, it's like, who's the brain surgeon that came up with this?
Well, you know what? They had a better plan. And the state said, you know what? I know the people involved. I won't mention their names.
Well, didn't Stan live right there? He lived right when you come around
Here, I'll give you one name, and I won't put it over the air.
All right. Now, Stan was a good guy.
But there's one right there. And the neighbors all got, you know, and,
okay.
you know, it is what it is. It's an influential neighborhood.
Okay.
You know what? 4 lanes, and I think people would have been calmer as a rule because you wouldn't have felt the need to jumpstart on other people. I watch people. It's like a badge of honor. You know, you know how the race drivers cut the corners?
Yeah.
People do that all the time.
I do. I come around, and it's like, I feel like I'm at the Daytona. I'm serious. It's like Daytona Speedway. So far, I've admitted to speeding and illegal parking.
What?
You sure you want me on this show?
I heard of Leanne once. I said, they call it calming, you know, when they do that wiggling stuff. I said, that doesn't calm people. It makes them wild.
This will be the last call.
Okay. Go ahead, caller. Whoa.
Go ahead, caller.
You got to turn down your TV.
Got to turn it down.
Yep, we lost him.
Yeah.
Well.
All right, Kaz.
Hey, John, I got to say it's been a great time. So.
Kaz, we had some callers this week. It actually went good.
We got one more. So
we're off the air. Go ahead.
Go ahead, you do.
Go ahead.
Talking about the Glenwood intersection there.
Yeah.
I always stay in the right lane. Don't ever think about trying to squeeze in because I'll cut you off.
Now we got road rage.
He's the intimidator. He's like Dale Jr.
But he's like
Dale Sr.
I got to admit, I'm like that too, though.
That just irritates me. They won't get in line with everybody else. They try to squeeze in.
Well, you know, I don't mind if they wait their turn to merge. I might let them in. You know, if you wait over there, but don't try to run me off.
I'll run them right off the road.
There you got it.
He's the intimidator.
Have a good day.
Thanks.
I love this guy.
Yeah. With that being said, I think we're done.
Yeah, you're on any longer. We might be having a guy in blue come down with cops.
I was just gonna say they're probably waiting for me out in the lobby. I better
illegal parking.
I better skate out the back door.
Hey, John, thanks for coming on.
No problem, Kat.
Hey, remember, you're welcome anytime.
It's been fun. We'll see how things go. I think your mom's here.
You think so?
Yeah.
Where?
I think wasn't that her sitting right there?
It might be.
Did she wave to you?
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching the Taxpayers Hotline Show on Erie's own Government Access, Channel 9.